I'm Gabriel Beavers, the performer on the upcoming album Swagger, all amplified bassoon works written for me by composers who are my friends and colleagues. And to that end, I thought I would talk to some of these guys. And today we have Brett Dietz, professor of percussion at the Louisiana State University School of Music and the composer of Behold a Pale Horse for amplified bassoon and percussion quartet. Welcome, Brett.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
You're the professor of percussion at LSU, but you're also a composer, very prolific composer. What led you down this dual path of being a performer composer?
In the field of percussion, it's kind of required that we kind of write some things. You know, it's really required because we don't have a lot of music. Our instrument's not even 100 years old in terms of people actually writing for it. There's nothing really more satisfying than when you can actually orchestrate and create something on paper and then have somebody give it back to you. You know, it's really one of the best feelings in music that I've ever known.
How does being a composer inform your performance and vice versa?
Whatever is in front of me, whether it's a multi-percussion or if it's a marimba or a vibraphone, it's an orchestra to me. It's an orchestra, it's a band, it's something that is much, much bigger than just the vibraphone. And then I kind of think of it, it's almost like orchestrational, I want to say technique, but it's kind of, you kind of have to get in there and, understand how to play the instrument differently if you want it to sound like pizzicato. Do you want it to sound, legato like a trumpet? How are you going to do that? Because for us, we hit things and that's it. So we have to really work to get music out of the instrument. So it really did change the way I approach anything that I play. And so I typically try to share that with my students.
I wasn't aware when I got this piece from you. I was like, Behold a Pale Horse, what is this? And it pretty quickly I found some resources and read, and I've even continued to read past even recording it. So without letting the cat out of the bag, I thought I'd ask you, what about amplified bassoon and percussion made you pick this topic or explore this subject? And what is this subject? What is Behold a Pale Horse?
Okay. So Behold a Pale Horse is actually from Revelations in the Bible, but it's also the title of a very well-known book by Milton William Cooper. And Milton William Cooper was a radio host and did all kinds of, I don't know how much we can get into it, but but I think he did a radio show called The Hour of the Time. So Bill is kind of, I guess you would call him, one of the fathers of conspiracy.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. I've recently read Mark Jacobson's book, Pale Horse Rider, and it's a really interesting because this is not something that was on my radar or I thought about very much, but his work was important to a lot of people. And actually I thought it was interesting, given that we're doing this essentially as a crossover project for me, that a lot of hip hop artists were influenced by that book and actually allude to it in their work. What went through your mind when I said, hey, Brett, you want to write an amplified bassoon piece? How do you feel about that? What were your first thoughts? What interested you in the project?
Well, the first thing was I played with you. What was the other piece? It's on the CD. I played with you at the Double Reed Convention.
Yeah,
right?
The International Double Reed Society Convention. Yeah, it's on the CD. It's called The Miracle of Lascaux. It's by Robert J. Bradshaw, and it's for amplified bassoon with guitar pedal effects, strings, and percussion. And thank you very much for playing awesome with me.
Well, and so you called on us and Gustavo Miranda from Nichols State University in Thibodaux, Louisiana. We came and we played. And that's when I got my first, taste of it. It was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And then you kind of, you played a little bit of the Star Spangled Banner,
my Jimi Hendrix.
Which was kind of cool. And then when you can see the especially the distortion of it, it sounds just like an electric guitar. It's pretty fascinating. And then like some of the other, some of the other effects that you have with it. So I got a real handle on that while I was playing with you. But that's how I got a handle on, what you could do with it. And I was pretty impressed with it. So it was like pretty easy. It was like, okay, I can do this now. And, I basically, for the piece I wrote for you, I gave, you carte blanche, like, hey, do what you want with it. And then the only thing I really wanted was the middle movement was, okay, this has to be distortion, like right here, like this, the other ones you can do whatever you want, but this one has to be distortion. But the thing is with what you're doing, Gabriel, is like you're one of the pioneers of doing this.